Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. It's City versus Brighton. I'm feeling tensed. I don't know how you lot feeling, but it's definitely a match that's not gonna be easy. It's a match that's gonna test City because you look at how Brighton have been set up. They've been set to go on the counter with Adingra, with Mitoma, with Joao Pedro. Maybe not Danny Welbeck, but you look at three of them and you're just thinking Brighton will look to hit us on the break, and then it's James Milner here. James Milner is, and I know due to injuries for Estepinian and stuff, but is there to provide that experience. So this will be very interesting. What City do? Look at that. Roberto De Zerbi and Pep Guardiola. They are discussing. Pep Guardiola has been asked in Pep Guardiola has been asked in press conference that did he say to a few Brighton players that Roberto De Zerbi is going to be the next City coach in a in a match in the tunnel after the match last season after City drew 1-1 with Brighton at the end of last season. Pep Guardiola denies it, but I do think there are rumors coming out regarding who will be City's next coach. So that will be interesting. We'll discuss about that in the show. But anyway, looking at City's lineup, I think this is the best lineup which you can put out. Probably Ruben Diaz, Akanji. That's the only thing. Maybe if you put that in, put Diaz in place of Akanji. I think this probably is City's best lineup right now. Bernardo Silva playing in the center and Phil Foden playing out wide on the right. Doku on the left. I mean, it's interesting that Pep Guardiola this season has not gone to Grealish as much. I know injuries and stuff, but Pep Guardiola has last season, even if Grealish was out, injured a bit, the moment he comes back, he's in the team. He's sometimes in the team ahead of whoever, sometimes Foden, who played well on the left wing when Grealish was out. But this season, Pep is somehow preferring the direct approach, with Doku on side, Foden on the right, for example. I mean, it will be interesting to see this match if Foden goes in field centrally and Bernardo Silva plays on the right. Because if Bernardo Silva plays on the right, it then means that I actually think in the last few matches we've seen Kyle Walker go on the right and he predominantly is playing as a right winger with Foden coming infield and playing as a midfielder. I think in this match, what you'll see is John Stones step into the midfield, which means Kyle Walker will form a back three with Akanji and Josko Guardiola. And then I think Bernardo Silva will be the one who will be playing on the right wing or Foden or whoever it is. I do not think in this match we will be actually seeing Kyle Walker own that right wing. I don't think we'll be seeing that actually in this match. So the tactics will be interesting. Tactics will be very interesting in this match. It's a pressure match for City. There is no two things about that. It's a pressure match for City. I do not think like last season we can go 7, 8, 10 points behind Arsenal and then expect to, come back like we did last season. I mean, I know it is City, but I think we need to be as close as possible to all of the teams who are competing for the title, be it Spurs, be it Liverpool, or be it whoever this season. So this match was very important, and the selection has actually thrown a message out. I think this, apart from one or two tweaks, like I said, instead of Ruben Diaz, instead of Akanji, you could have Ruben Diaz, or maybe instead of Walker, you could maybe expect Akanji to play at right back in a few games. Apart from those one two tweaks, I think if everyone is fit, Pep Guardiola goes with this lineup. I think if De Bruyne comes, De Bruyne maybe goes in instead of Phil Foden. I think this is Pep's best lineup. I think this is Pep's best lineup. This is what Pep will be looking to play most of the season. But it's at the Etihad. Nice to resume the international break at our home stadium. Nice to see Rodri back. I'm sure that we would have won against Wolves had Rodri been there. Against Arsenal, we'd have if and go. Against Arsenal, there are some matches where you can put in an absolutely top-notch performance, but you just can't win. You could say that is destiny's hand. You could say luck. You could say anything, but there are a few things which are out of your control in life and in football. I think that Arsenal match was a nil-nil draw. If you play that Arsenal match 100 times, 99 times it's a nil-nil draw. I think that deflected goal, I just think that it was just destiny's hand, that's all. And people saying Arsenal would gain a lot of confidence was from that result and stuff. It's not that they beat City convincingly. To the outer world, Mikel Arteta could come out and say that, Arsenal have overcome the City demons. No, they have not. They have not overcome the City demons. The reason being they have not beaten City convincingly. They have beaten City just with a deflected goal, which means that doubts are still lingering in Arsenal's mind. Arsenal's play, there is a doubt, there will still be a doubt whenever Arsenal face City that, oh, that Community Shield was luck. At the Emirates, it was luck. Are we really capable of beating them? So I don't read much into the Arsenal result. Let's focus and move on. Already, I think Brighton has tried a long ball over there. It's a free kick for Brighton, so let's see how that goes. I'm very keen to see what John Stones will do in this midfield role. In today's match. To be fair, is Pep Guardiola sticking with that system of a back three, or is he reverting to a traditional 4-4-3, that 4-3-3? That will be very interesting. City having to do that defensive work, Kyle Walker being involved twice. Kyle Walker versus Karao Mitoma will be extremely fascinating again. The best right back in the world right now against surely the top 3, top 4 dribblers in world football. Gautam says, and we are back. Thankfully, we are back, Gautam. Thankfully, we are back. And I actually got a chance, Gautam, to think about that Arsenal game a bit after that. I mean, I felt disappointed, but I honestly thought that match did not tell us anything new. That match did not tell us that the tide has changed. That match did not tell us that Arsenal are finally, they're capable of going all the way, because it was only a deflected goal. It was only luck. It could have been a Burnley. It could have been a Luton Town. When Luton Town could win with us, we could deflected 1-0 Parthabus. How many times have we seen that happen in football, where a relegation team beats an absolutely top team with a lucky deflection? So nothing much. I think the doubts are still lingering in Arsenal's minds, like I told before. Can they comprehensively beat City? But it's good to have Rodri back, actually. It's very good to have Rodri back. And what do you think about Calvin Phillips? And what do you think about the Calvin Phillips link, to be fair, to Newcastle? Because Tonali getting banned due to that betting stuff. And Pep telling in his press conference that he expects Calvin Phillips to be a City player at least till the winter window. So I think that gave it away. That actually tells me that Calvin Phillips is gonna go. I actually thought that Jack Grealish will start in this match because Grealish and Bernardo Silva could control Mitoma and Adingra. Grealish can track back better than Doku, but the fact that Pep has started Doku is fascinating to me. Because last season, these kind of matches, I think Pep starts Jack Grealish. Gautam says, I think Calvin goes, but who do you think could be the replacement, Gautam? Who do you think could be the genuine replacement for Calvin Phillips? Brighton are on the attack here. Track back. Phil, track back. Kyle. That's very well defended, I would say. That's extremely well defended. Phil Foden with the ball. The ball was behind Phil Foden, to be honest, I would say. Julian Alvarez. There has been some shit about Julian Alvarez especially from the Spanish press, through this international break. Every day there is some stories from a Spanish outlet that Julian Alvarez has a 50 million release clause. Madrid and Barcelona will fight for Julian Alvarez. I mean, who is that? I mean, which board in the board of football club are so idiotic that you have a player contracted to you for 7 years and you insert a 50 million release clause in that? That's not going to be possible. Jeremy Doku with a chance. I think Doku should have at least tested the goalkeeper with that. Doku should have at least tested the goalkeeper for that. Jeremy Doku should have at least tested the goalkeeper for that. What a run from Phil Foden there through the midfield. Great one to find Jeremy Doku. And we know that Jeremy Doku can bend that, but I do not think you can expect Jeremy Doku to pass after he has cut inside in that way. Just cannot expect Jeremy Doku to pass. Ivana Fernandez is here. Hey Ivana, how are you doing? So guys, let me know, who do you think can be a replacement of Calvin Phillips, because I don't know. I mean, looking at this Calvin Phillips situation, looking at how Kovacic played against Arsenal, it more and more bugs me about how much of a mess Lucas Paqueta is, to be fair. Because we were almost on the verge of signing him. Because if we signed Lucas Paqueta, I genuinely think he could have played the Rodri role to me when Rodri was not there. Lucas Paqueta could have provided the creativity that De Bruyne couldn't. He's excellent on the ball. So, so I genuinely just go back there and actually think about that Lucas Paqueta thing and how different it would have been if we would have got Lucas Paqueta. That's a goal! That's a goal! Julian Alvarez! The spider! Arana scores! The spider scores! Arana, the spider! City spider! Julian Alvarez scores! What a goal that was! What a goal! But everything about that one was about Jeremy Doku, right? The same position, Gautam, the same position. If Jack Grealish would have been there, the ball would have gone back. The ball would have gone back. But just look at the courage of Jeremy Doku here. Just look at the courage of Jeremy Doku here. He goes to the byline, and then he manages to go past his fullback. The finish was a weak foot finish from Julian Alvarez. But I'm sorry, because Julian Alvarez doesn't have a weak foot. Julian Alvarez doesn't have a weak foot. I'm sorry. Julian Alvarez doesn't have a weak foot, but what a finish. What a ball that is. And then what a pass from Jeremy Doku to find Julian Alvarez, to be fair. Again, looking at all this, just imagine what would have happened if Jeremy Doku started against Alexander Zinchenko in that Arsenal game. Zinchenko would be torn to shreds. Zinchenko's footballing career would be done if Jeremy Doku started against Zinchenko. Mitoma has to be offside here. I don't know why the offside flag was not raised, but Mitoma had to be offside here. But honestly, Gautam, news is come from a pretty reliable City outlet, a City journalist, that City were considering going for an elite platinum level midfielder in this window, especially with Gundogan gone. That's why they say we bid 90 for Declan Rice. That's why they say we bid 90 or whatever for Lucas Paqueta. So City were going for that elite level, platinum level midfielder. Again, these are all, these all raise questions. Then why did you let Gundogan go? I don't know, because that platinum level midfielder could be Florian Wirtz, honestly. But then again, why did you let Gundogan go? Because Gundogan is what? Because Gundogan, I think, in this market is worth is worth in his weight in gold, to be honest. So again, a lot of questionable decisions, but then I know I'm talking about a club which has successfully made a transition from a Fernandino to a Rodri to elites to world class CDMs to best. If I have to tell you to name four or five best CDMs of the decade, could be Busquets, Rodri, Casemiro, Fernandino, and stuff. So I can't question the board. If they have sold Gundogan, maybe should be something. Sweaty Diamond is here and says Doku Foden. Doku was fire, mate. Doku was superb. Doku was just superb. I mean, The thing I appreciate about that move from Jeremy Doku was his courage. His courage to run at James Milner. His courage to run the fullback. James Milner is just been torn to shreds. James Milner just doesn't know. And another thing about, look at who are up against Jeremy Doku. Ben Dunk and James Milner. Both are being, both are just scared to get close to him. The thing about Doku is Doku. People were telling Rafi Liao, and stuff, or even Bradley. People were telling Bradley Bracola. People were telling Rafi Liao. But I think the one thing about Jeremy Doku is he's comfortable on either foot. He can come on the inside and on the outside as well. So that makes it very hard for him to defend against, for defenders to defend against him. Gautam says Doku is nightmare. That's what I don't understand, Gautam. Why was Doku not started against Alexander Zinchenko? Zinchenko is one of the shittiest left backs. Zinchenko is one of the shittiest left backs in the league. I mean, attacking wise, he might be very good, but defensively, Zinchenko is not good. Just imagine Zinchenko starting against Doku starting against Zinchenko. Zinchenko's footballing career would be, as a left back, would be done. I just don't know why Pep didn't start Doku against Zinchenko. Still do not know. Honestly, it's not like Ben White is a great fullback as well, but Otega is superb. His playing out from the back has just been superb. Look at how he's played out there, and suddenly we are on that. I give it to Doku. Give it to Doku. Julian Alvarez from long. It's Josko Guardiola from long range, to be fair, but good try, good try. But it opened up for him, so just a little bit curl and the ball would have gone out there. So good start from City, but we need to get the second. Just remember what happened to Liverpool last week. They were 2-1 up against Brighton, and at last Brighton scored with a two free kick, and it finished 2-2. So Mitoma there. Just imagine Mitoma one side and Jeremy Doku on the other side. It would be a nightmare for defenders. It would be a dribbling feast. Doku with the loose touch. Doku with the loose touch there. Otherwise, Dunk was gone. Doku with the loose touch. Gautam just Mitoma. Very hard to defend against Mitoma. But I think for me, Vinicius Jr. is the best dribbler in the world at this point of time. And Walker simply had him in his pocket last season, both the legs against Real Madrid. The season before as well, if you see when City lost that comeback, City lost with that Real Madrid comeback against at the Bernabeu. Until Walker was on the pitch, Madrid didn't have a shot on goal. So I back Kyle Walker to defend well against Mitoma. Gautam says my dream Mitoma for City could be possible. Gautam could be possible because Bernardo Silva has a 50 million release clause, and it seems Mbappe wants Bernardo Silva at PSG next term if he wants to stay. So I think PSG are anyway going for Bernardo Silva. I think, or Barcelona, 50 million release clause. I think Bernardo Silva is set to go, even though I don't want him to go next season. He's set to go. So I honestly think it could be a chance. It could be a chance for us to go for Mitoma. But for me, I think Pepsi's Doku on the left wing. Pepsi's right footer Doku on the left wing. Pep, if you see in the past this thing as well, Pep has preferred this way. I mean, after the Sunny and Sterling times, Pep has preferred this way. Grealish on the left wing. I mean, right footer on the left wing and left footer on the right wing. You could see Mahrez, Bernardo Silva. When Phil Foden wasn't given as many chances on the left wing as he's been on the right wing, especially after Grealish has come into his four. So I actually think Florian Wirtz could be the option, and Florian Wirtz is also an extremely good dribbler. So I think we are going for Florian Wirtz next season, and could be that Florian Wirtz could be on the right wing, Doku on the left wing, Wirtz on the right wing. I think, I mean, people might think I've lost it, but I honestly think Julian Alvarez could be the long-term replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know why I'm telling this because the style of both the players is actually very, very different. But I do think that it's not in terms of style, but it's in terms of the position because Pep thinks Julian Alvarez can play the Thomas Muller role. So Thomas Muller role is not an attacking midfield role like a De Bruyne role is, and I think Julian Alvarez can fill that. And I actually think we're going a bit away from the Kevin De Bruyne role, and we're going towards what a Julian Alvarez does in the midfield, what a Foden does in the midfield in terms of pressing, getting the ball back fast, and things like that. So will be interesting to see. Will be very interesting to see how Pep decides to replace Kevin De Bruyne. Gautam says Alvarez to Madrid or Barca as per latest news. That is all of the crap, Gautam, that has been fed by the Spanish press. So much crap it has been spread that for a moment I even believed it. Good, great ball into Jeremy Doku. Doku with the first touch, and that's a bad challenge by Milner on Jeremy Doku. That's a very bad challenge by Milner on Jeremy Doku. Is it a yellow card? Or did Milner get the ball? Actually, Milner got the ball, so there's nothing. There's nothing in it. I mean, I think there's no substance to that news because the Spanish outlets actually claim that Julian Alvarez release clauses what 50 million euros. I mean, which club in the world should be so stupid to have Alvarez is contracted to us at least till 2028 to have 5 6 years of contract for a player and just have 50 million release clause, that too of a 21-year-old player, and Barcelona have 1 billion release clause for Gavi and stuff. Are we so stupid to the Spanish press? I think that's not there. I think City expect Julian Alvarez, and I know with South American players you never know, but this is a dangerous attack for Brighton. This is a dangerous attack for Brighton. Mitoma very well done by City to force the attack back. So I don't think we're stupid enough to insert 50 million euro release plus to Julian Alvarez, who's said to be one of the biggest talents in the last decade, I would say, to emerge out of the Argentinian football scene. Are we so stupid to do that? No, I think there's no release clause honestly in Julian Alvarez's contract. Phil Foden there, Phil Foden still with the ball, and that's a foul on Phil Foden. That's a foul on Phil Foden, I think. Yes. Red Devil is here. Hey, Red Devil, how are you doing? And looking at your name, Red Devil, I think you're a Manchester United fan, but everyone is welcome here. If you want to speak, Red Devil, you can speak about, things about what do you feel about the Jim Ratcliffe takeover and stuff. What do you feel that United should do to, win trophies and stuff? You're welcome. You're welcome. Everyone's welcome here. So Julian Alvarez stuff, Gautam, I think is just a load of crap. I guess it's nothing but a load of crap, to be honest. And honestly, do you guys know who is the replacement? Erling Haaland through. Erling Haaland's through. What a goal! Ah! Erling Haaland announcing himself back into goal scoring form. What a goal! What a finish! Erling Haaland is back. That finish has Erling Haaland dictating it to his critics that I am back. I am back. Whoa, Bernardo Silva winning the ball back with his press, but the finish was not easy. The finish was not easy. Look at how Haaland finishes it. It was not an easy finish at all. The first touch superb, the second touch fantastic. The finish is just out of this world. Not an easy finish at all. The way Haaland had used that, the way Haaland had used Brighton's defender as a shield is just fantastic. And everyone was telling Haaland has been figured out. They say Haaland has been figured out. Some Arsenal fans, some Arsenal outlets are even saying that Gabriel Jesus is a better is a better striker than Erling Haaland stuff. I mean, how dare you say Haaland had been figured out, especially the opposition fans and still, I was like, okay, Haaland has been figured out, dude. But He's still the highest goal scorer in the Premier League this season. And then how can you say that Haaland has been figured out? Gautam says, finally, my man is back. Gautam, by the way, I want you to guess the name of the midfielder that we might try to get in January, and we are surely trying to get him in summer to replace Calvin Phillips. It's not Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz is not a replacement for Calvin Phillips. So, can you guess the name of the midfielder who we are going for in January or in the summer to replace Calvin Phillips? There's a name that is doing the rounds from top city journalists. Can you guess the name? Gautam, can you just guess the name? He is an elite level midfielder. Just guess the name. And it's not Florian Wirtz. One guess, and then I'll tell it to you. Akanji. I just feel actually bad looking at Ortega sitting on the bench. For any other club in the Premier League, he starts. He starts, maybe except Liverpool because Alisson is there, but except Liverpool, I think Ortega starts for any other club. He starts ahead of both Ramsdale and David Raya or whoever Arsenal will bring in. I think for 99.5% of the clubs he starts in world football. Jeremy Doku, Phil Foden, Akanji, La Arana, who is Julian Alvarez, but no, it was Kyle Walker to be fair. Bernardo Silva, Jeremy Doku, James Milner versus Jeremy Doku 1v1. It's just gone behind Erling Haaland. But again, that was a great ball from Jeremy Doku. What a ball that was from Jeremy Doku, to be fair. Rodri, Julian Alvarez, and the ball's gone to the keeper, the Brighton keeper. So the midfielder, the platinum level midfielder who is, yes, Gautam, you're spot on, you're spot on. What a wonderful answer, you're spot on, Gautam. Joshua Kimmich. I'm just wondering. Yes, it's Joshua Kimmich. It's Joshua Kimmich, Gautam. You're spot on. It's Joshua Kimmich. They say that City might go for him in January, and if not, again a weak pass from Stephen Ortega, but luckily the Brighton player couldn't get to him. And it's Bernardo Silva. We'll talk on Kimmich a bit after this City's attack. It's Jeremy Doku 1v1 against James Milner. Yeah. Jeremy Doku is just, he's just sending Milner back. He's sending Milner back to the youth academy. Jeremy Doku is just, he's been superb. 10 on 10 performance in this match till now. Maybe except for that missed shot early on in the first half. But Joshua, just imagine the midfield. Just imagine the midfield, Gautam. Rodri, Joshua Kimmich, and Kevin De Bruyne. If De Bruyne is fit next season, that midfield would just be something else. Joshua Kimmich alongside Rodri. Wow. Gautam says, well, I'm not complaining if that turns out to be true. Well, we can dream, Gautam, right? But it's coming out from multiple outlets, not the tier one ones, but the tier two ones and the tier three ones. But I know it's a tall ask. 2026, his contract is with Bayern till 2025. I think he has 2 years of contract there. So I think it would actually be a hard this thing, but it would be a hard thing, but it would just be an excellent signing, I would say, because Kimmich can do the John Stones role. Are they checking something? Are they checking something? Is the referee checking something? I don't know. Is the referee checking something? Just don't know, but the VAR is actually checking something. Let's see. I think there's nothing over there. Wonderful, wonderful defending there from Josko Guardia. Look at his acceleration. Look at his anticipation there to get the ball from Mitoma. Phil Foden's had an excellent game quietly. The way he's run through the midfield is just been superb. What a ball there from Phil Foden. There's superb ball there from Phil Foden. Jeremy Doku has to cut in and shoot. Again he's missed it. Doku could have easily had at least 2 goals till now. What what play there from Phil Foden. Great running from the midfield, and Doku had to again at least test the goalkeeper. He never say that he has to score, but he has to test the goalkeeper again. What a chance that is. He has to score. He has to score. I think that is. I mean, people ask me how can Doku reach the levels of Vinicius Junior and stuff. I think the one thing with Vinicius Junior you notice is his finishing is excellent. He gets in there, he just finishes. The 2 legs in the Champions League match. I mean, last season, this season as well. First leg against Napoli versus Real Madrid, where he played. Vinicius Junior is a lethal finisher. I think Jeremy Doku needs to get there. And once he gets there, I think Doku is in the top 5 in terms of wingers already in the world. I think Doku works on his finishing because his assists and everything are there. It's just the finishing. Gautam, just look at the confidence of Guardiola. The confidence of Guardiola is just that is just superb. The anticipation there. Mitoma was looking at the ball and Guardiola arrived, pinched the ball and he went. Wonderful. This system is just what a ball there from Bernardo Silva again outside of the foot. Julian Alvarez, Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez, Bernardo Silva. That ball was from Julian Alvarez to be fair. Alvarez is actually playing as a deep lying midfielder, more deeper. Rodri, Oscar Guardiola, Jeremy Doku against James Milner. Adingra is coming back to help James Milner right now. Bernardo Silva, Josko Guardiola, Jeremy Doku. Doku's game in terms of when to play the ball back, when to dribble is just sorted. He exactly knows. How many times has Doku lost the ball today? Zero, I think. Gautam just, I think the international break came at the perfect time. The international breaks always come at the perfect time for us. I think Gautam. Last time as well, we lost to Brentford. World Cup break came. This time international break. Yes, I think it allowed Pep Guardiola to sit back and sort things out a bit. Jeremy Doku, Josko Guardiola, Phil Foden. City are just putting the press, putting the plug on Brighton here. Manuel Akanji. Akanji just looks so confident again. But I mean, we can say Doku, we can say Alvarez. I think Phil Foden's had a wonderful game because how did that Doku assist to Guardiola come? Sorry, Doku assist to Julian Alvarez come? Foden's run from the midfield. Erling Haaland there obviously gets to the ball and it's a corner for City. Anyway, Gautam, there's a player called as there's a player in Benfica called as João Neves. He's said to be the next big midfield talent in the world, João Neves. Just see some clips of him play and he's just like CDM. See, there are 2 big CDM talents going around in the world right now. João Neves, he's 19 years old, said to be one of the big talents to come out from Portuguese football last 1-2 years. They say his potential is even bigger than Enzo Fernandez, to be fair. And there's another player, Thomas Vermaelen. He's plays for does he play for Anderlecht? I don't know. He plays for a Belgium club, Thomas Vermaelen, and he's just set to be superb as well in terms of his midfield play, in terms of his distribution and stuff. So Joe Neves and Thomas Vermaelen, I think these two people we have to. I think these two could be better choices than probably easier choices than Kimmich. I would say not better choices because Kimmich is world class level. Kimmich is easily in the top three, top four. He's easily in the top three central midfielders in world football at this time. Gautam says, as I always say, Foden is place. He's one of our own, Gautam. He's one of our own. Phil Foden, one of our own. Coming from the academy. Wonderful press there from Jeremy Doku. Wonderful press. Timing of City's press has just been superb today. And what a run by Erling Haaland. Haaland also looks to be back actually to form. The runs, the movement Haaland's making is fantastic. Sometimes during his drought, Haaland just looked a bit passive for me, but right now Haaland's just been superb. His movement and his passing has just been superb. It's a corner for City. I just hope we find a good set piece specialist, especially corner kicks. We have been shite in corner kicks, especially this season. Can Julian Alvarez deliver a good corner? Let us see. Again, a stupid corner. Jeremy Doku does well. Initially, he had misread it, but he does well. Gautam says Neves looks interesting. Neves looks very interesting, Gautam. But have a look at Thomas Vermaelen as well if you can. Sometimes afterwards, because Thomas Vermaelen is not heard as much. But they say that Pep Guardiola appreciates him and City scouts and are keeping an eye on him. And he looks very, very interesting as well, Thomas Vermaelen. Again, I talking about transfers. I actually want Valentin Barco to join us in January because the more I'm reading about him, the more people are telling us, especially the Argentinian press and stuff. He's from Boca Juniors. Valentin Barco is telling he's the next best fullback in the world. He's the next big fullback in world football. Brighton and City went toe to toe. Brighton is going toe to toe with City over a 17-year-old player. It just tells you a lot. Just tells you a lot. Valentin Barco. It's not confirmed news, but somewhere around 16 to 17 million pounds is the fees for Valentin Barco, and I'm sure we'll get him. Just imagine getting Alvarez for 15 million pounds, Valentin Barco for 17 million pounds. This is just great business from City, I would say. Manuel Akanji, 25 million pounds has already been a bargain. When you see people like Disasi costing 70 million or something, Fofana costing 90 million, and Akanji 25 million, and the way Akanji performed last season, you would think he's an 80 million, 90 million pound defender to be fair. So City scouting is just being superb. Gautam says, I think we should take short corners in the box. You know, the reason I'm angry, Gautam, with the corner stuff is because you have Rodri, you have Guardiola, you have a Haaland in the box. You generally have Ruben Diaz in the box as well. Akanji is very good. John Stones is a great header of the ball. So literally you have 5 to 6 people who are fantastic headers of the ball. Fantastic headers of the ball. And still you're taking such shit corners. Well done by Erling Haaland to come back. They're trying to press Ortega, but Ortega for me is the second best goalkeeper in the Premier League in terms of playing out from the back. The pressing today has just been superb. Look at it. James Milner is taking 4 steps backwards as soon as Jeremy Doku receives the ball. Great pass there from Josko Guardiola, I think. Phil Foden. Haaland should be making that one. I don't know why no one made that run into the box. But Gautam, there's another player in Savinho from Girona. Girona is a city football group football club, and it's second in La Liga right now after 8 matches. And Savinho is a player who has stood out actually in Girona. He has and the comments of Savinho are actually interesting because other clubs tried to sign him. I think there was one or two Premier League clubs tried to sign Savinho, but Savinho always maintained that he wants to get to City, and I think City Football Group is a very good way to get to City. So he was signed from Atletico Mineiro in Brazil, I think last season, 2 seasons back, I don't know, but Savinho, he has been vocal in telling that I want to get to Manchester City, and I think City Football Group is the best pathway for that. So, and the way Savinho plays has just been superb. He's been a revelation in La Liga. I know Vinicius Junior has been injured, but he's been the top three wingers in La Liga right now. And his signature move is coming inward. That's a foul on Phil Foden. So just imagine Doku on one side and Savinho on the other side, and we have got Savinho for 10 million or something from Atletico Mineiro. And I think a transfer from Girona to here City will not be a problem at all since it's our own football club. So Savinho is another interesting name to keep an eye on. So that will be interesting. Brighton players have been committing a lot of fouls, a lot of fouls. I just want us to score the next goal, third goal, and just finish it off, finish the match off. Have a cool Saturday where we can discuss many more things in terms of City's transfer, City's next manager and stuff. I think one more goal before half time and that should break Brighton, I think. That should allow Brighton to attack even more. I think Milner is almost on the verge of getting a yellow card. Just a matter of time before Milner comes and gets a yellow card to be fair enough. Jeremy Doku is just showing all his tricks. That turn from Jeremy Doku has just been superb. It's just been fantastic. Otega has been alright, I would say. Not the best game because he's not had any saves to make, so nothing to comment on that. But we know he's an excellent shot stopper, probably better than Ederson in terms of shot stopping. But playing out from the back, I think one or two times he's given the ball away, but under pressure he's been very neat with his footwork. Been very good, I would say. Jeremy Doku again 1v1 with James Milner. Foden just couldn't sort his feet out. I think again, great work by Jeremy Doku there. Again, Doku. City should be scoring the next one now before the break. City should be scoring the next one. Got the Milner wants half time as fast as possible. And that's offside. I think Doku's offside. I think. By the way, no one's talking about this. A yellow card for Rodri again. Rodri, just calm down. I think he's booked Rodri here. I think he's booked Rodri here, yes. Yellow card for Rodri. Doesn't make sense. Just be calm there, Rodri. We don't want Rodri to miss few other matches to be fair. Brighton have played out from the back well, but the ball's gone out. So I'm actually a bit surprised that no one's actually talking about a right back for us. We are being linked to CDMs, we have been linked to Calvin Phillips' replacement, we have been linked to De Bruyne's replacements, we have been even linked with, left back in Valentin Barco, but I don't know why we are not being linked with a single right back till now because that is a genuine problem area, right? I think one of the biggest problem areas to address after, maybe after Rodri's replacement. Who will come as cover for Rodri? Because Rodri can't play all the games, right? Who will be Kyle Walker's heir? That's interesting. Any names? Any names, guys, for Walker's replacement? Any names here? Because honestly, I don't see much news around that, to be honest. Doku does well. Julian Alvarez, Bernardo Silva, Julian Alvarez, Bernardo Silva occupying that wide position on the right. Bernardo Silva has to find Doku. I think he doesn't. I thought maybe Doku was the better option, but Phil Foden, Rodri, Julian Alvarez, Jeremy Doku there. City are controlling the tempo extremely well. Manuel Akanji is almost lost the ball under pressure, but I think that's a foul. I think that's a foul on Manuel Akanji, to be fair, by Joao Pedro. I think it's a foul on Manuel Akanji, to be honest. Pep Guardiola there on the bench will be thinking about subs. Not now, obviously, in the 70th minute, but how much of a difference can Rodri make? Especially, I think Stones also has made a lot of difference in helping us play through the Brighton press. But Jeremy Doku, Josko Guardiola, wonderful ball there from Rodri. Again, great steal from Julian Alvarez. Alvarez has been so lively. One thing about Alvarez I've noticed today, he's mostly playing in that left half of the pitch. And then Foden's operating on this right half of the pitch. I think that's a slight tweak, I think, which Guardiola has done, and it's just been working beautifully. Doku trying to pierce the ball through the crowd. Stones does very well there. Stones has got the pace there to match up with Mitoma. Stones is not slow at all, is not at all slow, I would say. City are now playing for half time, I think, but a goal before half time would just be fantastic. Just be superb. Stefan Ortega. Edison's not playing, so many fantasy football players would be unhappy with that, I think. But I have a friend who has both Ortega and Edison. Ortega is substitute and Edison as the main goalkeeper. I think he will be happy. Ah, Jeremy Doku. City have the ball back with Jeremy Doku. That's a goal kick for Brighton. I think Doku should have just passed the ball a bit earlier. But anyway, I think I'm just thinking: does Milner have the legs? Does Ben Dunk have the legs to to continue dealing with Doku in the second half? I don't know. And what that thing with Doku has done is Adinger has not been able to venture forward as much because he knows that we can't leave Milner alone. So that has just limited Brighton's threat down the side, to be honest. And Walker has just pressed Mitoma brilliantly. Mitoma has not been able to get far as well, but Doku has been responsible single-handedly for none of Brighton's attacks coming down from our left-hand side. Almost a great ball to Erling Haaland, to be honest. That's a foul for Brighton, I think. That's a foul in favor of Brighton. And I think it's just a few seconds to go for the. I mean, I was almost saying there are a few seconds to go for international break, but no, there are just a few seconds to go for a break. So for halftime break. So yeah, Brighton will be desperately looking to get a goal back before the halftime break, and City will be looking not to concede minimum. When if we don't score, we just cannot concede here before the halftime break. Just cannot. Walker does extremely well there. Stefan Ortega. 4 minutes of added time. Nice. I think you can look at it positively as well that we could have a chance to score a goal. I think the only reason why Ortega is playing instead of Ederson is South American players, I think. Then you could argue Julian Alvarez. I honestly don't know about that, but only reason I could see is maybe Ederson would have arrived late because he went for Brazil duty and stuff. Maybe that could be the only thing. After the halftime whistle blows, we'll check the scores of other matches as well, how other matches are going as well. That is very well defended. Bernardo Silva. I think Bernardo Silva playing centrally has also made a lot of difference. Ortega is playing those dangerous passes for sure. Kanji has been extremely good with the ball. City have played out from the back extremely well here, and it's Phil Foden driving at his fullback. Akanji, wonderful overlap from Akanji to be fair. Has to play in Phil Foden. John Stones, Rodri, Bernardo Silva there. Honestly, I think Bernardo Silva could play the role of Gundogan. He can arrive late in the box. He can press, he can do everything that a central midfielder can. So great ball in there to Jeremy Doku. Look at the body positioning of Jeremy Doku. He's already on the move, but he's offside. Brighton are just playing between themselves now, so I think Brighton are looking more forward to half time than City, to be fair. Can City muster up one last attack? No, I think the referee will blow his whistle for half time, and it's half time, and City going with a 2-0 lead. First goal by Julian Alvarez, a very good finish by Julian Alvarez off his weaker foot. And then the second was a thunderous strike by Erling Haaland to announce him returning back to form. It's an announcement to his critics. It's an announcement to the Premier League that is back in form. And good to see City's two forward men, and Alvarez and Haaland, both on the team sheet. And Jeremy Doku has been maybe the player of this half, along with Phil Foden. Jeremy Doku has been unplayable. Literally, he's just torn James Milner to shreds. So, and Phil Foden, and we must not undercount Phil Foden, neglect Phil Foden here, because Phil Foden has been very strong with his running. To be fair, he ran, I mean, for the first goal especially, it's Phil Foden who ran through the midfield, and he actually gave that pass to Jeremy Doku, who set up Julian Alvarez. So Foden has been a strong runner through the midfield. I think one of the best games this season of Phil Foden, I would say, has been fantastic. Phil Foden showed physicality through the midfield, showed that he can control the tempo in the midfield. Today was the first game where I actually felt Phil Foden showed me glimpses of him having the mindset to control the tempo of the game. Him showing that thing of pausa, which Pep Guardiola says, when to stop the tempo, when to start the tempo, how much should the tempo be in which situation. Phil Foden sort of displayed that everything superbly. I think Phil Foden literally played one of the best games in midfield in a City shirt, I would say, today. No assist, no goal, but still one of the best games. The way he ran through that midfield and everything was just fantastic. And I mean, another positive is John Stones. John Stones coming. I think John Stones coming into the midfield actually meant that, I think, like we discussed before the start of the stream, I think Stones coming into the team today meant that Kyle Walker did not have to do his graveyard shift of up and down the right wing. That was literally graveyard shift. Why? Because you know that 99% of the time you're not going to get anything useful from Walker in the attacking phase of the right wing. Not his crossing needs much improvement, so that is not his strength. And we were getting caught on the counter a lot of times, to be fair, with Kyle Walker going that far. So today Walker stayed back. He could keep tabs on Mitoma. John Stones ventured into the midfield. And it was almost that Phil Foden. And today another interesting, and it was Phil Foden who was predominantly on the right wing there. Maybe Akanji occasionally came forward, or Stones, but it was Phil Foden who owned that right wing. And today there's another thing which is interesting to me. Julian Alvarez and Phil Foden. I mean, in the previous games, all the other games of this season, it was almost like Julian Alvarez was given the license to roam everywhere in the midfield, and Phil Foden was sort of starting on the right, and he was coming infield. He was just cutting in from the right hand side. This almost felt that Foden was being, limited. But today the interesting thing is, it's almost that someone drew a line through the middle of the pitch, from one end of the goal on the another end. Pep Guardiola had said Julian Alvarez just to stay on the left side of that line, and Phil Foden to stay just on the right side of that line when we are attacking. So Phil Foden looked much more comfortable. Phil Foden looked much more assured in terms of, okay, this is my space. I can wander everywhere in this right hand side region, right wing, right midfield, did not matter. It's just that I do not have to cross the line. And Julian Alvarez and Bernardo Silva were everywhere on the left hand side. Bernardo Silva had another role, but Julian Alvarez was everywhere on the left hand side, especially left mid, sometimes moving on to the left wing, whatever. So I just think this has brought a lot of balance to the team, because earlier on it seemed like Foden and Alvarez were getting on their way. It just seemed that it was so congested in the midfield. Especially that Arsenal game, even the Newcastle game to an extent, but especially the Arsenal game, if you see, everything was so congested. I Both the coaches in that Arsenal game made everything so narrow and congested. I bet if Jeremy Doku would have played that game, or Phil Foden would have played that game like he did today, moving on to the right wing, cutting in on the right wing, maintaining the width, we would have won that game. We would have won that game handsomely. We would have won that game, I think. So, which means it would have stretched Arsenal's defense and stuff. So I think today the system looks so much more balanced, really well balanced. And the reason why Pep Guardiola is able to play Foden on just on the right hand side, Alvarez just on the left hand side. The key factor is of course John Stones moving into the midfield, which means there's extra protection for Rodri there. So Rodri, John Stones, and Bernardo Silva almost controlling that central midfield spot as well. So for me, it just seems that Pep Guardiola seems so much more assured in the system when Stones is there, when Bernardo Silva controlling the press in the middle of the field. Brighton were able to play zero balls through City in the midfield today. And couple that with the fact that Kyle Walker did not have to do that graveyard shift on the right wing, so he could stay back in a back three. He could just focus on Mitoma with Josko Guardiola, Kanji back three. Everyone knew what they were doing. No one got in each other's way. It was so fluent. That was just so good. They're showing highlights of the Newcastle game. Newcastle Crystal Palace. Newcastle are 3-0 up. Some way to return from the international break, right? By the way, who are the scorers for let's check some of the scores as well, to be fair. Scores in the other rounds as well. How are things going around in the Premier League? Let's see. Of course, Liverpool had won 2-0. Bournemouth is leading. Wolves 1-0. What a surprise, right? What a surprise. These teams just tend to turn up against City. Brentford leading Burnley 1-0. And Visa scored. Mbeumo an assist, and I have both of them in my fantasy team, so that is good thing. Newcastle 3-0. Let us see who is starting for Newcastle because I have Isak in my fantasy team, but is Isak starting? I don't know. No, it's Callum Wilson who's starting. Interesting that Tonali is on the bench for Newcastle as well. So that's how the scores are around the stadiums. Nottingham Forest drawing 0-0 with Luton, so that's fine. Yeah. So like I was talking about how Pep making those little tweaks is just brought fluidity to our system. I think this is one of the best games I've seen us play this season. I know against Leipzig we played well, but still we were struggling to break them. Rico Lewis was good, but I think in terms of just fluidity wise, this is one of the best games. I think I know we won against Newcastle 1-0 at the Etihad and stuff, but I think fluidity wise, everyone understanding what their position is. I just think this is one of the best games uh, we have actually played this season. To be fair, I'll just have a bit of water and come. Yeah, so the press conference was interesting from Pep. It was interesting because there was a lot of talk on who the next manager of City could be. So I know on this channel we were discussing a lot about who the next manager of City could be, and I actually gave up. We were actually discussing some names, but the common names we had, I mean, all of us agreed on were Mikel Arteta, Robert, not in any order. I'm just telling what is coming to my mind. Mikel Arteta, Roberto Di Zerbi, Xabi Alonso, Graham Potter. I mean, these were actually the names which we were actually. Ten Hag was a name before he went to United, not now. This was before, I think, 2 years back when before he joined United. So these are actually the names. So take Ten Hag out, he went to United. So these are actually the names that we had in our mind, and a lot of, I mean, I think it was Paul Ducker of the Telegraph. Paul Ducker of the Telegraph is actually very well is a very well informed source. He's a very well informed journalist around Man City, and he has actually come out and said that City now feel that Pep Guardiola will not extend beyond 2025, and City are already planning for things beyond 2025. And that is, and also they're telling that probably Tixiki Bakaristan also might not be there, after 2025. It will be interesting to see how City plan this succession, because we have seen a lot of clubs have got this succession plan wrong. Even Liverpool, I would say, when I don't remember his name, but when a very famous transfer director of Liverpool left, I think when Liverpool were doing well in that sort of 18-19 season, it took them 3 years, sort of 4 years to recover from it, at least 2-3 years to recover from it. So I actually think that this succession planning is very important, especially the transfer director and manager. So maybe I think if Tikshiki Bagaristan leaves in 2025, then I think you would expect at least his understudy to arrive in some sort of a role at the club in 2024. Now, the thing is, I actually think that this is one thing which has become quite associated with the City Football Group, in the fact that City do more of internal promotions, from within the City Football Group. So, are we looking at someone from, say, a Girona, transfer director from Girona or from New York City FC or something? And a fun fact here is that Ange Postecoglou, I mean, everyone thought that he was a new coach on the radar, and he was from Celtic. Yes, he coached Celtic, but everyone thought Spurs did a great job in finding him and stuff. But the fun fact is, he coached Yokohama Marinos, and City always had an eye on him. Yokohama Marinos is a City Football Group club, so we always had an eye on Ange Postecoglou. It's just that Pep Guardiola is here till 2025, so things have to match, right? The managerial appointment. We have to see who is available in 2025, not someone who is available in someone who won't be available on that date. So we had internal news from cities that we had an eye on Ange Postecoglou, to be honest. The players are coming out on the pitch, I think. Yes, the referees are coming out and the players will be coming out, but Oscar Bob will be someone whose position will actually be very interesting. How will Pep Guardiola groom him in which position? Because now the central spots are, I think, taken by Alvarez, Phil Foden. So because Oscar Bob is just a magnificent talent, he's a superb talent. I actually think Pep can groom Oscar Bob on the right wing, to be fair, but once my fear is that once Florian Wirtz comes, where will you play Oscar Bob? Bayaji is here. Hey Bayaji, how are you doing? How are you doing, Bayaji? Long time, long time no see. How are you doing, Bayaji? And just tell us your thoughts on how the season has gone. Tell us your thoughts on Arsenal defeat by Aji in today's game. A new manager thing as well. So Bayaji, quite a bit of things that you have to tell us, but let me know your thoughts. Long time seeing you. Yeah, so my fear is Florian Wirtz and Oscar Bob. I actually do not know once Florian Wirtz comes, where will Oscar Bob play? What will be his chances? Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob are excellent talents. I think Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob would be, especially Rico Lewis would be starting in that midfield role. I think in most Premier League clubs. Oscar Bob with his talent also would be starting in many Premier League clubs in the midfield. But now you get Florian Wirtz, suddenly Ford and Alvarez, Florian Wirtz, Doku, okay, Doku on the wing. Where do you play Oscar Bob? Big questions. Bayaji just had to deal with three back-to-back defeats without you there to solace. It was hard, Bayaji. It was hard dealing with those three back-to-back defeats. Honestly, the Carabao Cup one didn't hurt me as much because I thought we played well. Alvarez missed some chances, but we played well. But the Wolves one really hurt me a lot because my calculation was Rodri was not there. Defeat Wolves, and the Arsenal result doesn't matter. Defeat Wolves, but the moment we lost to Wolves, again again it's sort of I just felt very bad. But Bayaji, again nothing. Last season, remember the entire of January, Spurs 1-0 at home, the customary 1-0 at home. That entire month was a very bad phase, right? And it was fantastic that everyone was there for each other in this community. We were just chatting for every match in game things and stuff, and we were together. We still believed in the club, and look what happened at the end of last season. I think the beautiful thing about City is even in our most successful seasons, City always gives us, things that bad phases where you think that how will the team recover from that? I just think it just builds resilience, not just among the players but among the fans as well, I think. But Bayaji, what do you think about Jeremy Doku and the way he's just put Milner on thin ice and he's played ice skating with James Milner? Honestly, looking at Doku's performance, I think I would put him. I already had him in my top six wingers, top seven wingers in the league. In world football, I would put him in the top three wingers in world football. Okay, it's against Milner, but what I was impressed is the amount of ways in which he got past Milner. One was on the outside, one was on the inside, one was when nutmegging Milner. Even when Adingra and Milner combined, or Dunk and Milner combined, still he could get past both of them. Erling, press, press, press. That is excellently won there. That is excellently won there by Kyle Walker on Mitoma. Walker is showing Mitoma why. Walker for me is the best right back in world football right now. He is the best right back in world football. I hear Barcelona fans and Dan Yaraho and all of that crap, but now Arsenal fans saying Ben White, but Kyle Walker is one of the best right. He is the best right back in world football. That is wonderful there. No one there for the cutback. Don't know why Haaland was not there for the cutback. Bayaji says, I wasn't getting notifications for watch alongs. After a long time, I saw your stream while scrolling. I don't know, Bayaji, why that is. I don't know. Maybe some YouTube this thing glitch. I don't know, but I just don't know why that was happening. Yeah, I think it has to be a YouTube glitch. That's what even I was actually wondering in the past few streams. Actually, why is Bayaji not here? It's been a while actually after that treble winning season. But glad, good that you're back finally. And Bayaji, a great thing for you is finally that combo of Grealish Bernardo or Grealish Mahrez. That slow wingers combo is suddenly not there. And that is something which all of us can appreciate because that was getting boring. I mean, that one pass from Jeremy Doku actually, for the first goal, actually summed up the difference between Doku and Grealish. Grealish would have passed it back, and Jeremy Doku just. Is it a twist in his leg? I don't know. I just hope it's not something bad for Jeremy Doku. But thanks for informing me, Bayaji. I'll just check the notification thing. I'll just experiment with check the notification thing and see if it's working actually. By the way, Bayaji, by the way, Bayaji, let me know who is your favorite replacement for Calvin Phillips. Because seeing Pep Guardiola's press conference and stuff, I mean, it's apparent for all of the City fans that Calvin Phillips will go in January. Worst case in summer, but generally he'll go in January with Newcastle, Sandro Tonali ban. I think Phillips is mostly going off in January to Newcastle because Euros are coming as well. Phillips won't want to sit on the bench. A lot of things. I think Phillips will go 95%. So, who is your choice to replace him in January? Personally, I think even Gautam was telling previously, both of us actually think Joshua Kimmich would be great. So, Joshua Kimmich is the player who I want. It's impossible maybe, but that's someone who I have in mind to replace Calvin Phillips. So, do you have anyone in mind, any midfielder in mind? G, please let us know in the comments. Ah, that was so close. I actually thought Brighton scored over there. Let's see what happened there. That was a poor ball out from Stefan Ortega. That was not a foul. That's not a foul. I don't think VAR overturns this. JSK says, I forgot today was match. That's why JSK, that's why Pep Guardiola knows it. That's why he's playing Stefan Ortega in goal today. That's why Pep Guardiola is playing Stefan Ortega in goal today. But Ortega's committed two or three mistakes in terms of, playing the ball out from that. Doku does extremely well. Almost a great ball from Doku, but the defender of Brighton got back. That was a very good ball from Doku. Almost City have to score the third. That's what it looks like because Brighton will throw a lot of bodies forward. I know there will be a possibility of a counter-attacking chance, but JSK says who was the best player today? Jeremy Doku just is enjoying himself. He's having a party. JSK is having a party with James Milner. He has sat James Milner on his ass 5 times. He has made James Milner do ice skating on his arse 5 times. Jeremy Doku is just simply fantastic today. But for me, Phil Ford, Erling Haaland with the run, Erling Haaland with the run. Haaland can get there, I think. Yes. Ah. But Phil Foden for me was very good, Jessica. Phil Foden for me is very good. His running through the center of the pitch has been superb. Phil Foden, he's been strong with his running through the pitch. Phil Foden ran through the midfield to give that pass to Doku, which set up City's first goal for Julian Alvarez. Foden is not having an assist and a goal, but or a goal, but he's been very good. He's been very good today. One of the best performances of Phil Foden today on the pitch, I would say. Everyone's honestly been good in their roles. Walker on Mitoma, Guardiola doing well. Everyone's been good, but standout are Foden and Doku for me. JSK says, by the way, I think Ballon d'Or goes to Messi this time. Haaland had the chance, but he missed out coasting in important matches. But honestly, JSK, I think he sacrificed himself for the team, right? In important matches. You look at the important matches where he coasted last season. People say that Haaland coasted against it's a Brighton attack. We'll actually discuss this after the Brighton attack comes. I think, yes, yeah. So let's look at the matches where Erling Haaland ghosted, right? By and both the legs, he was very good, right? He was having involvement in goals. People say Haaland ghosted Real Madrid first leg, but how did City play Real Madrid first leg? City were almost like defending for a nil-nil lead or even for a 1-0 defeat. So Haaland, he occupied Rudiger, he occupied the defense, he created spaces for others, he did the defensive work. Haaland never had the instruction to do the attacking work, right? So Haaland did not ghost that match. He played very well for the team, and I don't think you can just judge a striker just on the goals he scores or something, even though that's how media in the football world is. And Inter Milan final, I do agree Haaland ghosted, but everyone was did not play well, right? For City, the system was a diamond which Inter Milan played, and that system got Haaland entangled. So I can just see only two matches where could say Haaland ghosted. Last season's title deciders, he tore Arsenal apart in both the games, right? Especially at the Etihad, at the Emirates, also he was good. Important matches, he was there. Most Leipzig important match, he was there. Champions League quarterfinals, except the Real Madrid and the Inter Milan two games, Haaland was there everywhere, right? That's a foul. James Miller gets a yellow. Ben Dunn gets a yellow card. The referee thinks that's not a foul. So I don't agree with this narrative, JSK, that it's offside. Yeah, adding res offside. That Haaland ghosted the matches. Haaland did what was best for the team. Apart from the Inter Milan thing, Haaland did everything that was asked of him. I think the moment, regardless of Haaland's performances, regardless of what City would do, I think you just knew Stefan kick it long. Yes, you just knew that the moment Messi won the World Cup, he was going to win the Ballon d'Or. It didn't matter what any team did, right? Because a treble, I mean, if you don't give a Ballon d'Or to a player who has won a treble is harder to win than the World Cup. A treble is harder to win than the World Cup. I don't, I don't mind. I mean, I like Messi, but I don't mind what Messi fans say because a treble is honestly harder to win than the World Cup. People have to agree with this. Apart from Brighton's good one chance, I think Doku is getting more joy. I think City have to score the next goal to be fair. City have to score the next goal to be fair. That's a free kick for City. It's a free kick for City from a very good range for Julian Alvarez. John Stones has played very well coming into the midfield. It's a free kick for City. That is a free kick for City, and Julian Alvarez will be interesting. Julian Alvarez takes it. This is, I mean, honestly, I would want a left footer taking this, but right footer far, but left footer taking this free kick would actually make this free kick much more, what is the word? It would make this free kick much more predictable because left footer would go for the near post. I think Julian Alvarez far post would be would be my bet. I think Julian Alvarez needs to take this with his tremendous form on free kicks of late against Wolves. He got us back into the game, and now I think Alvarez scores this, and I think it will be a very important goal. He's just got too much height on it, Julian Alvarez. Probably just had to direct it onto that far post. I think. He was trying for the near post. To be fair, I think the goalkeeper was positioned centrally. I just think near post was difficult for a right footer up and down. It's very difficult, that too from such close range, to be honest. Walker is just having Mitama in his pocket and is close to zips to his pocket. Stefan Ortega. That's a very good kick from Stefan Ortega, and Jeremy Doku is there. Jeremy Doku's first touch, but he's controlled it extremely well. Ha! Foden's just lifted it over Erling Haaland, but City still have the ball. City still have the ball. And it's a free kick in the favour of Brighton. But Foden should have done well with the cross, to be fair. He's just lifted it over Erling Haaland. That is wonderful kick from Ortega, and then Foden did well to get it to Doku. But Phil Foden should have. Okay, the goalkeeper got a touch on it, to be fair. So that's fair enough. I think goalkeeper got a touch on it. It's a good cross from Phil Foden anyway. The goalkeeper got a touch on it. Tarun is here. Hey Tarun, how are you doing, mate? How are you doing? Are you watching the match? If you're watching the match, what are your thoughts on it? I just want us to score the next goal, to be fair. Otherwise, it's going to be another tense ending. Mitoma running centrally, and Akanji has to take a yellow card. Mitoma is now running centrally, to be honest, because he knows that he's not getting any purchase out of Kyle Walker, so he's running centrally. Tarun says, yes, I'm watching pretty good for City. Let me know, Tarun, who do you think is the best replacement for Calvin Phillips? Because like Pep said, Phillips is going in January. Otherwise, he can't get placed in the England team for Euros. A lot of things. So who should City sign as Calvin Phillips replacement? Because we have got it wrong once. Calvin Phillips was a wrong signing. I would say it's not worked out for whatever reason. Who do you think is the player City should sign to replace Calvin Phillips? Could be January, could be summer. Let me know your thoughts. Because I have a player in mind. So if you tell your player, then I'll tell my player. I have a particular midfielder in mind who I want to replace Calvin Phillips with, to be honest. Stefan Ortega, good awareness, good positioning in the box, gets to the ball before anyone else, and Brighton are primed to make a change here. I don't know who is he. I haven't seen the Brighton player who is coming on. That's a clear foul on John Stones, I think. Frog Eggs is here. I'm the only one. Nice Frog Eggs that you're the only one. The thing with City have done very well is City have controlled the tempo very well, to be honest. Taking fouls, and City have known when to speed the tempo up and when to push the tempo down. So that is something which Pep Guardiola is very happy with, especially Phil Foden as well. Is exactly known what to do with the tempo of the game today. There was a sense last season that, especially in the second half of last season, that even though City were just 1-0 up, there was a sense that we could protect that lead. Okay, we might have conceded, but there was always a sense that we could protect that lead. City could win games 1-0. Even before last season as well, generally in our very good campaigns, we had that thing, we had that thing in us. But this season, especially in the first 7-8 matches, I just didn't think that I just didn't feel comfortable with us just being 1-0 up and seeing the game out. Even against Newcastle, it should have been 1-1 with the ball giveaway by Rodri. It was just that Guardiola just used his brain and did extremely well. If you guys remember that tackle late on in that match, 70th minute or 80th minute. So I actually think today again I'm having that sense that yes, we could keep a clean sheet today after a long time. I don't know why. Maybe due to the formation, due to the fluidity uh, and all of those things. Gautam says, "Why always me?" Bernardo gets the ball there, and City have a chance of a counter attack here. City have a chance of Erling Haaland's in there. Erling Haaland's touch is superb. Erling Haaland, can he step inside? Ah, that shot was just blasted with all the power Haaland had got. To be honest, the counter was just devastating from City. To be honest, it was a devastating counter, and I thought Haaland should have just stepped inside and finished the move off. But look at the ball there from Bernardo Silva, from Phil Foden actually. I think Haaland needed to step inside, and he did, but maybe he needed to step inside a lot more because he smashed it straight at the goalkeeper. I think if he was Gautam just was just watching that clip, that was an epic clip. There are a few clips, Gautam, which are epic. One is the Carlos Tevez one, when we signed Carlos Tevez, there was a board there, right? Welcome to Manchester. That was just epic. The "why always me" thing is was epic. That Fergie one is epic, right? Last season, I think, in the FA Cup final, uh, we were winning it, and the camera panned to Sir Alex Ferguson, and then immediately camera pan to a fan where the fan wrote on a banner, not during my time, but now it's every time. So, couple of very creative banners which City fans and players have got over the years. Ortega does extremely well there to save. That was a clean one-on-one for Karao Mitoma. That was a clean one-on-one for Mitoma. Mitoma is coming in centrally and playing now. I think Pep Guardiola needs to address that. City are not able to deal with it. That was a fantastic save from Ortega. Very good save from Stefan Ortega, to be fair. Gautam says, waiting for the derby. I just want to get back to winning ways. Gautam, Brighton's just looking more threatening now. City are playing such a high line and Brighton are just looking like they will, pierce our high line every time they go on an attack. By the way, Gautam, the news is that more than 60 to 70% of United squad is injured. They might be without Casemiro for the derby as well, which is next week if I'm not wrong. It's a corner for Brighton. That's very well done by Rodri. It's a corner for Brighton. I don't know why City is playing such a high line when though we are 2-0 up. I just do not know. Why do you want to give Mitoma and all so much space to run into? I just do not know why we are playing such a high line. I know that Pep Guardiola says can compress Brighton, get the ball off them and yourself hit them on the break, but I don't think the risk is worth it. It would be great to welcome John Stones on his full return with a clean sheet. How the hell is Mitoma meeting the header? What are we doing in the box? Defensively, it's been a shambles in the last 10 minutes. Sorry, it's been a game that's been going so well. I thought Saturday we can just sit down and chill and do everything, but we've been a shambles defensively the last 10 minutes, to be honest. I know Haaland had half chances. Foden had a chance to cross in the goalkeeper did well. But again, I think those two chances were Doku where he cut in and hit the ball out in the first half. He needs to bury one of those at least. Wonderful ball by Stefan Ortega and Jeremy Doku gets the ball. Ah! Again a chance. This is where Jeremy Doku should learn. This kind of Vinicius Junior goes in like that. I think Vinicius Junior scores. That is the next level of improvement for Jeremy Doku, to be honest. For me, Jeremy Doku is already on Raheem Sterling's level. He's maybe better than Raheem Sterling in certain aspects. He's a better finisher than Raheem Sterling. Just those finer details, I think. Kyle Kyle Walker's just revved up the revs, brought out the athlete in him, and just matched Mitoma stride for stride. Look at that. Mitoma was having a head start on Walker, and still, he just. I don't know how Mitoma got a head start on. I'm sorry, Mitoma won that header over Josko Guardiol there, to be honest. Wonderful ball there from Julian Alvarez. Jeremy Doku, can he get? Julian Alvarez shot was on target, to be fair, but City are out of position now. City are badly out of position now. And Brighton get a goal back. Brighton get a goal back. Shit. Brighton get a goal back. Now this will make the match very nervous. Brighton get the bloody goal back, to be honest. Brighton get a goal back. This was the fear. Brighton get a goal back. This was the fear. Conceded exactly. This was the fear, Gautam. This was the fear, to be honest. This was the fear now. It's a long 15 minutes to go. We should have scored the third. That would have just finished the tie off. John Stones going off. I think it's Ansu Fati who scored. It's Ruben Diaz who's coming on. Jeremy Doku goes, and I think it's Jack Grealish who comes on. Doku's had a really good game, but now again, one goal lead. Tense. Brighton are looking on the ascendancy. I just do not know why are we playing a high line now when you're 2 goals up. Just don't know. Again, miss kicks from Stefan Ortega. Again, it just looks so. Tarun says, "Oh God, it's gonna be hard to score another one now. It's gonna be bloody tense, Tarun. It's gonna be bloody tense. Don't know why City torture is like this all the time, every bloody time. But to be honest, the goal was coming. To be honest, the goal was always coming, right? Mitoma went 1v1 earlier on the corner, a lot of things. So can we defend for 15 minutes? That's the thing. I don't know. How is our defensive resilience? That is going to be the question now. I think so. Darren Ford into CM and Silva to right wing, with Jack Grealish coming on the left wing. We are just not able to deal with Mitama coming in centrally, to be fair. That's been the problem in this half. Maybe I think I would have bought on Matthews Nunez and put him on Mitama. As soon as Mitama enters the midfield, put Matthews Nunez on him. That is very well done by City. Mitama is just being impossible to defend against. City are just struggling to get out here. City are just struggling to get out. See, that was another. I don't blame Julian Alvarez for taking the shot there, but again, I think that was an example of tempo. Julian Alvarez should have maybe realized that turnover would happen fast because everyone's out of position. Tarun says Guardial to centre back and Ake to left back. Will that be a good thing? I don't think so, Tarun. I don't think so because I don't think so. That would be a good thing because yeah, Ake coming in instead of Akanji. I think Ake is going to play centre back, to be honest. I think Guardiola at left back is fine. I think maybe he plays Diaz and Ake as a centre back pairing. I think, but the change I want to see is maybe Matthews Nunes coming on. I think because Mitoma is cutting in, and Matthews Nunes probably Pep could instruct Matthews Nunes to have a eye on him because Brighton are able to easily play through our midfield. I don't know why. Tarun says, but stats show Guardiola is better at centre back. I just think Tarun that is because Guardiola has played a lot at centre back, so I think the sample size is less of Guardiola playing at left back. Predominantly, he's been a centre back at Leipzig more than left back, I think. But yeah, I think he can play anywhere. He can play centre back. He can play left back. He can play anywhere across that back line. He's got the qualities. But the question is, who'd be more comfortable in the left back position? I think probably Guardiola would be more than Ake, and it's a chance for an attack. It's a chance for an attack there. Jack Grealish, Josko Guardiola. This is just eating the tension out of me. Tarun says just to strengthen the defense, can Diaz come in instead of Akanji? I think Diaz is coming instead of Stones, I think, right? Tarun, Diaz is already on the pitch. Diaz instead of Stones, and I think the next change could be Ake instead of Akanji, but I do think he'll put Akanji there because I think Akanji has more pace than Ake. The turn of pace is very good, and I think yeah, that is the reason why he'll put Akanji over Ake. And I think this is a sort of game where you need to play through Brighton's press and a lot of that stuff. And Akanji is better player on the ball than Ake, I think. If we can get through this Brighton's press at least once. Ah! I just thought there was a turnover on there for Brighton, to be fair. The only puzzling thing for me was why were we playing Haaland in the second half so high? As if we were chasing the game, I don't know. Good ball from Bernardo Silva. Manuel Akanji. I think it's a back three with Akanji. Interesting with Akanji, Bernardo Silva, and Ruben Diaz. Bernardo Silva is the one who's dropping back as a third centre back to get on the ball. If you see, this is very interesting for me. It's a goal kick. I think it's a goal kick for Brighton. Josko Guardiola did extremely well there. Look at his dribbling ability. Look at his. I think one of the other reasons why I think Guardiola could be better at left back than at centre back is just look at his dribbling ability, the way he comes forward, his runs, his pace. I think he would be kind of wasted at centre back, you could say. Brighton are just trying to play out from the back. They're trying to entice us into pressing them. Just don't press Brighton. Just sit back, and try to hit Brighton on the break. Bernardo Silva intercepted it well, but Brighton are so quick on the ball. My God. Jack, get back. Deserve his change. Something here, and Brighton on the attack again. And it's a Brighton throw in. It's another Brighton throw in. Jack Grealish can do these things well. He can stem the tempo of the game, to be fair. It's a yellow card for Jack Grealish. I just hope we come unscathed from this phase, to be honest. Next 5 minutes are going to be very difficult, I would say. Next 5 minutes are going to be extremely difficult, to be fair. Josko Guardiola does very well there. Josko Guardiola does extremely well. The last time I felt this tense was Nottingham Forest. We were 2-0 up against 10 men. That was when Rodri got suspended, I think. Josko Guardiola did extremely well there because, again, like I was telling in that game against Nottingham Forest, time is our biggest enemy here. We are playing against time more than against Brighton here. So, Gautam just must say Deserve is what we need next. Exactly, Gautam, Deserve. By the way, fun fact, Gautam, Ange Postecoglou was a coach who was on City's radar actually. If Pep did not sign his contract extension and stuff, because he was coaching Yokohama Marinos back then. Mitoma with the ball there. Mitoma with the ball. I think Walker should just man mark Mitoma now for the last 4 minutes. Plus how much ever is added time. Just take the ball and keep the ball. But I don't know which is good because take the ball and keep the ball, then Brighton could hit you on the break. That's an excellent tackle. That's a very good tackle. That's a foul on Erling Haaland. So many fouls on Erling Haaland. Haaland did extremely well there, took control of the situation. That is the side of his game which has really improved, Erling Haaland's side of the game. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but very tense. I'm sure all of you guys are feeling tense as well. I mean, tense. Very tense. Gautam says we need Haaland and Grealish time wasting corners. That's where Grealish has come. But honestly, Gautam, if you have to, run the clock down, I don't think there's a better duo than Haaland and Grealish, especially Grealish there. Defensively, he's been very good as he has come on. He probably could have a great future in the right back position, to be honest. Sorry, left back position, to be honest. Remember Jesus Navas, who Pep converted into right back and is still playing at right back for Sevilla. Julian Alvarez, there is this a chance to finish the game off. Jack Grealish gets the ball. Smart bit of work, I think, took the right decision, keep the ball, run the clock down, but there's too many minutes to run it down, to be fair, to be honest. I'm sure this will be +6. It's a Brighton throw, I think, and a Brighton player is down. It's accidental, but just brace for +6 of added time. My God. It's just that momentary lapse of concentration why we conceded. I think there'll be a long period of added time as well. Shit. This match is going down to the wire. There will be at least +6, +7 added time. At least, I think. Oh, it's +4, but I think he'll play on plus till +6, to be honest. I think it's quite a serious injury, to be fair, but I'm just not able to speak anything. I'm just not able to think about anything. It's just the added time, and if it was 2-0, it would have been chill. But 2-1, my God, it's tense. It's very tense, to be honest. It's very, very tense. And Haaland relieve our tension. It's very sad always to see a player go off the field like that injured. Very sad. Just hope he recovers well and fast. Who is the player? Who's the player in question, by the way? No. Roberto De Zerbi is sat there, and Pep Guardiola is just tense. Like all of us is just very tense. Don't think he was like this after the end of the first half, but now with Brighton getting that goal, it's tense. It's very tense. Oh, it's Solly March who's down injured. It's a horrific injury for Solly March. Interesting, I think Van Dijk has come on, and I think he's a defender. So defender coming in for Solimatch. Probably I don't know where is Solimatch playing. I think Solimatch has been playing in one of the full back positions. I think maybe yes, instead of Estupinian. I think it'll be a long 4-5 minutes from now on. Long 4-5 minutes from now on. There's sometimes momentum in the game. 2-1 scoreline is not bad always, but when you're 1-0 down and you come back 2-1, then that's a different kind of momentum into the game. You're okay with that. You're not as tense. But when you're 2-0 up and then the game comes to 2-1, then that is when you're tensed. Yeah, and it's all about the tempo. It's all about who's on the rise and all of that stuff. And I think Manuel Akanji is off. Manuel Akanji is off. And I think Manuel Akanji is off. I don't think it was second yellow, to be honest. I know he's away, but there are so many players recovering. It's not a clear denial of goal scoring chance or something. So Akanji is off. So now City are defending. So now City are defending with 10 men. Akanji is off with a red card. So now City are defending with 10 men for the next 4-5 minutes. Wow. Just wow. And Nathan Ake is coming on. Just like Tarun said, Nathan Ake is coming on. Instead of Akanji. Tarun, you got it spot on. Ake coming in instead of Akanji. But no, sorry, he's coming in instead of Alvarez. Potentially it's instead of Akanji, right? Because Akanji went off with the red, so Ake comes in, Alvarez has to be sacrificed. So, yeah, either way, that was the thing. Ake comes in the place of Akanji. But even Tarun would not have predicted that it would be like this. Gautam says pathetic referee. That was not a second yellow, Gautam. That was never a second yellow. Can we do this? I don't know why Bernardo Silva is just kicking the ball off. Keep the ball, Bernardo. The more you kick it, the faster it will come back. How many more minutes, Gautam? Because it was +4 initially, right? But 94 minutes was when the clock started, I think, after the injury. The ball didn't fall for Mitoma there. There was a chance that the ball was falling for Mitoma there. That's a corner. That's a corner for Brighton. This is just going tense. 99 minutes, okay. It looks as if the referee will not blow until Brighton score. Short corner. That's that's a goal kick. Some relief. Some relief, at least some relief now. That's a goal kick. One more minute. That's not a foul either. He got the ball. That's not a foul either. Phil Foden got the ball. This referee is just absolute pathetic. That's never a foul. Phil Foden gets the ball. What the hell is this? Phil Foden gets the ball. Pathetic referee. Phil Foden gets the bloody ball. Oh my god. I don't know. This referee has been absolutely pathetic. Phil Foden gets the ball. Now it's a chance for Brighton to swing. Free kick there. Has to be one of the last attacking moments of the game for Brighton, I think. Just defend this free kick. Just defend this free kick well. Stefan Ortega does extremely well there. Just look at everyone congratulating him. Stefan Ortega, you beauty. What a catch that is. And the referee blows the whistle. City get the 3 points. Wow. This was tense. This was tense, Gautam. This was tense, right? Tense as well as satisfying. Remember, it almost took me back to that game, Nottingham Forest, right? We were taking City through a entire second half with 10 men, almost an entire second half with 10 men. But the referee tried everything to give Brighton the equalizer. Probably the referee is from the North London side, affiliated with Arsenal, I think. Pathetic refereeing, I would say. Akanji's was not a second yellow, and Kanji's was not a second yellow, and Foden at the end got the ball. I don't know why he gave Brighton the free kick, but well done, City. Well done, City. I think this kind of performance, you can look at it in two ways. You can say that City are not clinical. You can say that City are conceding. City have a weakness. City can be got at and stuff. But I would look at it in another way. I would think look at the spirit of what happens when we go down to 10 men. Nottingham Forest, then Brighton now. Look at how we galvanize, how we come back and defend, how everyone becomes warriors. I think that is something that spirit is something which no one can take out of this group, More than, for me, when I look at this group of players under Pep in such moments when things are down, January last season, entire last season, things were down. 10 men here, 10 men against Nottingham Forest. Most part against Arsenal, we were without Rodri and stuff. You know, that spirit, what amazes me is the spirit of how they play for each other during those down moments when it looks things are gone. This is the reason why we won the treble. This is the reason why we won 3 Premier Leagues in a row and 4 in last 5 years. This is why we are the best team in England in the last decade. This is why we have the highest number of Carabao Cups, for example. That spirit, that inner champion mentality, I think, that spirit, this you can't get spending how many ever money in the market. This you can get by by the character in the players, the personality of the players. So that is the best thing about this group for me. Vinicius doesn't look convincing. Really frustrating when they don't convert chances. First half, we should have been 3+ goals. I just think when in this match and also in the Wolves match, I think both the matches, I actually think it's for Pep Guardiola. It's Pep Guardiola's to blame. The reason is the players were very good in both the matches. The players were good. Don't say very good, but the players were good. Wolves match, there was a warning. Ake was getting done by Pedro Neto. Ake was getting done by Pedro Neto before the goal, but Pep Guardiola didn't heed to this thing, and he didn't change it. Here, things changed when Mitoma was getting central, which means he was leaving Walker there on the right hand side and he was getting central. It was a bit of a confusion thing between Walker and the centre back. I think Akanji over there, who or Stones, who would mark whom. Mitoma was getting joy. I think Pep Guardiola should have, Deserby outwitted Pep Guardiola in a way. I think Mitoma was having the freedom. Mitoma was kind of playing between the lines there, between the full back and the centre back, and no one was picking him up. I probably thought Pep Guardiola should have bought on someone like a Matthews Nunes in that midfield. Maybe removed a Bernardo, I don't know. Matthews Nunes and just blocked the central attacking areas off. Matthews Nunes is physically good and stuff, and he would have blocked that runs of Karo Mitoma off because all the dangerous chances Brighton created were with Mitoma coming in centrally, right? So I think Pep Guardiola played it wrong, and I don't understand why Pep was playing with such a high line in the 70th minute, in the 60th minute. Brighton were easily able to bypass their high line with just one long ball and stuff. So I think not on the players. The players perform their duties extremely well. It's just Pep Guardiola did not get it right. Vinay says Akanji is suspended. Vinay, I actually think I get what is happening. The players are maybe asking Pep Guardiola for a break. Pep Guardiola is telling no way you're getting a break, and Rodri told this is how I get a break, red card. It seems Akanji had booked his holiday last week itself for the next week, but Pep Guardiola is telling no. Akanji is like my ticket money will be waste. I've booked a vacation. I'll get a red card and go. Maybe that, but I think the referee was. I didn't think that was. I mean, I didn't think that was a yellow, but I didn't think it was a second yellow to be honest. Vinay says, does Pep purposely don't do any subs or he forgets? This game required some new legs. And also Vinay, I think every season this is how the sequence goes, right? In the first half of the season, we blame Pep, we tell Pep that each one of us we blame Pep and we are like Pep Guardiola is City are just not in the right frame of mind. You know where what are the solutions for Pep? For example, last season Cancelo, Grealish were coming in each other's way. It was not looking fluid and stuff. It's not that we lose a bunch of games, but if you see the example of last season, we lost to Brentford, we lost to, I think was it Crystal Palace? I think we lost to Crystal Palace as well. No, we won against Crystal Palace. We lost to Brentford. We lost to another team, I think. Then I think Wolves did we lose. So we have these 2-3 losses. 18-19 season. I think in December we lost to Leicester, we lost to Wolves. I think there were 2-3 games we lost on a trot. I think it is a common theme, except the Centurion season. I think every other season it's a common theme that Pep does these sort of things. Just because I think he's experimenting with new systems, he's experimenting with new ideas. I think so. I think we need to trust Pep with this one. Now that Pep has been with us for so long, I think we know that he experiments a bit till December, and then in January, sometimes in February, like last season, he knows exactly what is his team, who does he want, and stuff. And then from February to May, June last season, you sort of knew what was Pep's first 11. Important matches that Pep's first 11 played. Now you don't know what is Pep's first 11 again. Doku? Is it Grealish? Is it Foden on the right wing? Is it Bernardo on the right wing? Question marks. So a lot of question marks, and there is Guardiola right back, left back, centre back. So I think this is what Pep does. This is what I think Pep does every season. I think at the start of the season. Vinay says look good in the first half. Foden should be around the wings. The inverted thing is useless. The thing what I observed, Vinay, is that in the first half, it was almost like someone drew a straight line from in the middle of the football pitch, and Pepe's instructed from goal to goal. Someone drew a straight line in the middle vertically, and someone has instructed Phil Foden just to stay on the right hand side of that line, and Julian Alvarez just to stay on the left hand side of that line. So today, for me, that's why I think at the end of the first half, I was telling that I felt it was the most fluid I saw us play this season. Because that meant Foden and Julian Alvarez were not, blocking each other off or, coming in each other's way. Like it happened in the Arsenal game, for example. It was so compact. But with Foden giving the freedom of the entire right hand side, he was occupying right wing, right end. Walker was not doing the graveyard shifts and stuff and everything. So So I actually think this, and it looked as if Alvarez only had the instruction to play left ham and maybe on the left wing sometimes, but only on the left hand side. It is not often that he came on the right hand side, for example, to be honest. So I think I actually like that very much. Vinay says right wing Foden is the best. It also actually suits the narrative, right, Vinay? Because Pep likes left footers on the left, sorry, right footers on the left wing and left footers on the right wing. So Foden can cut inside, and for me, I think Foden was the best player on the pitch today. I would give man of the match to Phil Foden because if you observe the first goal, how we scored, Foden ran through Brighton's midfield. It's not easy to run through Brighton's midfield when they press so tenaciously. His running through the midfield was so strong. He felt so confident. I mean, in the last few matches, I thought Foden was actually concerned a bit that, Alvarez is coming into my space. It almost felt for me that Foden was, competing with Julian Alvarez for space. It almost felt that Foden wanted to get into that space ahead of Julian Alvarez. It seemed as if Alvarez and Foden were competing for that midfield space. But today, I think Pep Guardiola divided and told right side you, left side you, and it just felt so smooth. Foden was very calm. Foden knew the positions he had to be in. His running was fantastic. Everything about Foden was very good today. Foden was just absolutely superb today. Very good. Vinay says Walker didn't play right wing. I think the reason for that, Vinay, is John Stones. I think that's why uh, John Stones is so important because what was happening is when Stones didn't play midfield, it almost meant that Phil Foden had to cut inside and play midfield, which meant that someone had to play in the right wing. Otherwise, Stones is not coming into the midfield. There were less numbers in the midfield, so Foden had to compensate for that, which meant that Walker had to do the graveyard shift. And honestly, it was a graveyard shift. It's a graveyard shift because Walker is useless in the attacking sense on the right wing, on the right flank, right? So you're just wasting his energy telling him to go up and down. So glad that he didn't play on the right wing, Kyle Walker. This is why I think Vinay this is actually Vinay says, do you think we should go for regular fullback? Definitely missing pace in the middle. Diaz or Aki Guardiol will do good. It's interesting to see Vinay who will be the successor of Kyle Walker. But we are getting a left back that is for sure. His name is uh, his name is Barco. I think it's Valentino Barco. Valentino Barco from Boca Juniors. And the more you read about him, more reports from South America telling that he is one of the biggest fullback talents to emerge from South America in decades. And we must not forget that people like Roberto Carlos, Cafu, everyone has come from South America. That they're telling he's one of the biggest fullback talents from Argentina. So he's from Boca Juniors and City are getting him from 16 to 17 million pounds. So that should be that should be very interesting, I would say. So and he's very good on the ball. He is Zinchenko's god level on the ball. Zinchenko is nothing on the ball in front of Valentin Barco. So you can see the skills and everything Barco has. So but right back is interesting because again, I don't know. It's interesting because it depends on the system which you play. Vinay says it's high time we should move on from Akanji Ake. Uh, I'll actually just come on to that, Vinay. But just finishing about Kyle Walker, I think we have to look for a Kyle Walker replacement. Because Kyle Walker's time is getting up, we'll have to look for a Kyle Walker replacement next season. But it's interesting who we go for because is Pep Guardiola looking to just play a back three? In that case, you need a fullback who's good one on one and who can just shift in the center of defense. So it depends on what you're looking for, or are you looking for someone like a Jan Gut or Arna Martinez, Girona who can bomb forward as well. So that's going to be interesting. And Akanji Ake, that's an interesting thing, Vinay, because I know Ake has not been good. He cost us the Wolves match. Arsenal match is unlucky. Any defender would. Ake, I thought was good in the Arsenal match. It was just unlucky. But with Akanji, I think Akanji has a turn of pace that that most people underrate for me. I think I know Akanji could look a bit erratic, could look a bit rash, but I think Akanji has a turn of pace that is actually very good. So I actually think Akanji would be all. Akanji and Ake, I think they're very good 1v1 defenders. I know where you're coming from, Vinay. Maybe a little, you would think a little bit more quality than Akanji or Ake, maybe in terms of Guardiol, in terms of Ruben Diaz. See, Guardiol and Ruben Diaz are world class. Akanji, Ake are below world class. They're not world class. They're maybe top defenders in the league, but they're not at the level of, they're just below the level of Guardiol and just below the level of Guardiola and Ruben Diaz. So I understand where you're coming from, to be honest. Vinay says things we're missing is KDB profile, who'll just break teams with just one pass, cross, and only player I count is Rodri. Any update on KDB? KDB is out till January, February. Vinay is out till January, February. The only player we can count on is maybe. I actually think Phil Foden has that in him. Vinay, Phil Foden has that in him to break the opposition lines. Atletico Madrid, if you remember, 2021, I think, 2020, no, I think 2 seasons back, at Atletico Madrid game, we won the entire tie 1-0 quarterfinals. First leg, we won 1-0. How did City break Atletico Madrid there? Phil Foden with a no-see pass and De Bruyne runs through and scores. So Phil Foden is actually capable of doing that, I think. I don't know why. Inter Milan last season, if you remember the spin of Phil Foden, he just turns the entire Inter Milan midfield. No one could do that, and Phil Foden just did that. So I actually think that it's Phil Foden could do that, but I don't know why he's not doing it. Maybe Pep is not giving him the license to do that. I don't know. Vinay says important 3 points. But Vinay, what about Jack Grealish? Do you think that Jack Grealish can play the KDB role? Can Jack Grealish play in the center of the midfield and release that one pass? I know it's I know it's a nonsense thing I'm talking about when I'm talking about a player who just wants to pass back and pass back. But but I actually think Jack Grealish at Aston Villa was doing just that, right? He was playing, he was enjoying himself, playing himself across the pitch, putting in those through balls. So I think can Jack Grealish do that? The only player I see who has that vision and who can do that is Jack Grealish and Phil Foden. I don't think Alvarez can play that killer first time pass. He's still learning and is a forward. We should not forget that. So Phil Foden and Jack Grealish, I think we could maybe play Jack Grealish in that role. I don't know. Florian Wirtz is interesting again. Florian Wirtz could be that player. One pass, he could actually break teams. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for joining me, and it was a very tense match, but a very good match, a very good win. We can just enjoy our Saturday, and it's a very good match, and things are just hotting up in the Premier League. So let's see how the season goes from now on, and we actually have the Champions League coming back as well. I don't know. I think our match is on Wednesday. I think against Young Boys. It will be fascinating not because of the opposition but because of the experiments which Pep Guardiola is doing. I still cannot say what is Pep Guardiola's first team, to be honest. So it will be interesting to see what happens, and see you all, guys, and thanks a lot for joining me, and